Long-haul flights in economy have a bad reputation for being miserable. Tight seats, dry air, bad sleep, and feeling gross when you land. But here's the truth. You don't need to be in business class or have expensive gadgets to survive a long flight. You just need the right strategy. I've done at least 200 flights in economy, sometimes using just a personal item. So I've learned a lot of tricks about how to survive in economy. So I'm going to walk you through my strategies on exactly how to stay comfortable, rested, and fresh from the moment you book your ticket to the moment you land. So stay tuned. Most people think surviving a long haul flight starts when you board the plane. It doesn't. It starts when you plan to leave and your seat selection. So let's talk about seat selection strategy. First, choose the right time to leave. If you can take an overnight flight or late evening flight, that's usually the best because your body already expects to go to sleep at that time. Be cautious about those early morning departures. They may be less money, but waking up at 4:30, you'll be exhausted before you even land. If you can choose your seat at the time of booking, make sure you do your homework before you pick. Check out websites like either Seat Maps or Aerolopa to see if your plane has some problematic seats, like those that don't recline or are in bad locations, or better yet, seats with unexpected legroom. Try to avoid the seats that are near the bathrooms or the galleys if possible, because you'll have more noise, more light, and a lot of foot traffic. If you need to pick a seat 24 to 36 hours before your flight, make sure you set your watch for that time as if you were buying concert tickets. Try to get onto one of the earlier boarding groups, especially if you're going carry-on only. It might even be worth it for you to buy up your seat, either by paying for seat selection or better yet, for extra legroom. This not only ensures that you're not going to get stressed out about your bag being gate checked, but also gives you a bit more comfort on your flight. So now, let's talk a little bit about what seat to choose. Obviously, no one wants to send us seats, so that's why it's so important for you to choose your seat early. Choose an aisle seat if you move around a lot and like to use the bathroom. Or if you like to sleep, choose a window seat. Now, you didn't hear this from me, but there's a little trick you can do if you're traveling with a companion and you're trying to keep your center seat open. Often, if the plane is not filled, if one of you takes the window seat and the other one of you takes the aisle seat, that middle seat will remain untaken, which means it's a huge win for you. But if it does get taken, you can always ask that passenger to trade. They're usually all too happy to do so since they don't want to be in the middle seat. If you and your companion both like aisle seats, you can both sit in the same row on different sides of the aisle, and that solves that problem. Also, before leaving, you should make sure that all of your electronics are charged. Download all entertainment because some flights don't have in-flight entertainment or they have terrible entertainment. Or you could be stuck in a seat where the screen isn't working. By the way, you're supposed to be reimbursed if this happens, so make sure you tell your attendant if this is the case. If you read, make sure that you've downloaded everything before your flight because sometimes the Wi-Fi in the flight does not work. Nothing is worse than raw dogging a flight bored out of your mind. Also, if you need a prop for your phone or iPad, don't forget to bring that along with you too. So now that you have your seat chosen and you're prepared with your entertainment, let's talk about going to the airport because this is where stress usually starts to happen and you want to avoid that. Plan on getting to the airport early. A long-haul flight should not start with you sprinting through the airport terminal because when you start off stressed, your cortisol and your adrenaline are up, which means that your heart rate is up, your digestion is off, and it becomes harder for you to unwind once you're on the plane. To avoid this, plan on getting to the airport with enough time to clear TSA and get to your gate on time. One of my favorite underrated tools is using the app My TSA because this app shows the estimated TSA wait times and if there's a long delay there. So check in at least 2 hours before you expect to leave for the airport to build in some extra time if the TSA is behind schedule. Make sure you build in buffer time for getting to the airport. That means arriving at least 2 hours for domestic flights and 3 hours for international flights, especially if you're flying from a major hub or it's a holiday season or you're checking a bag. This will reduce your stress level. Also, the airlines are boarding people sooner than the printed time on their ticket. So it's best to be there with some extra time. This way you can be the first in your group to board and ensure a place for your carry-on in the overhead bins. But do not get up before your group's times, as many airlines are now punishing people who do that by making them board last. Now let's talk about what to do while we're waiting for the flight. Since you're about to sit for at least 6 hours or more, make sure you're moving around before then. So you might want to take a walk around the terminal or do some stretching exercises, especially the lower body. This helps circulation and reduces stiffness before boarding. Second, eat smart at the airport, because what you eat before you board absolutely affects how you feel in the air. Avoid super salty or greasy foods. Skip alcohol, it dehydrates you and wrecks your sleep. Choose lighter meals, mostly of protein, because carbs lead to bloating. And try to avoid carbonated drinks because the plane's cabin pressure can cause you to expand, and also might cause some embarrassing noises from you. Dressing for economy is an important part of your comfort strategy because your outfit is part of your survival kit. When thinking about flying clothing, make sure that you choose stretchy pants or leggings, because we all tend to expand on the plane because of the change inside the plane's pressure. And nothing is worse than wearing a tight pair of pants with a tight band that makes you uncomfortable. Always wear layers so you can stay comfortable on the plane, because the temperature on the plane fluctuates. So with that in mind, wear a light sweater or a hoodie. I like a hoodie because I can tune out the plane better. And try to avoid clothing that you have to pull over your head, as it might disturb the person next to you. Bring a scarf that you can use as a blanket to sleep with or as a pillow. And finally, wear compression socks for flights over 5 hours, because DVT, or deep vein thrombosis, is a killer. Now, I know that these can be a bit uncomfortable, but here's a new little tip. I have found these compression socks that only compress the caps and are much more comfortable, easy to get on, and you won't have hot feet when you wear them. Now let's go on to what to bring on the flight. And this is the difference between an economy seat being uncomfortable and making it very pleasant. And that begins and ends with your airline comfort bag. This bag should contain sanitizing wipes, antibacterial spray, personal wipes to keep you fresh, eye drops, nasal spray, and cream to avoid you from drying out, some meds like Tylenol, ibuprofen, antacids, and anti-nausea, glasses if you need them for reading. And don't forget to bring a spare pair in case you lose them. Fully charged battery banks in case the plug in front of you doesn't work. And make sure that you take all the cords you need for those devices. Tissues, because changes in the plane's pressure can cause your nose to run. Your preferred listening device for the in-flight entertainment, a disposable toothbrush, snacks in case they don't feed you, and special earplugs that control the pressure in your ears if you have problems with your ears. Now you can use chewing gum or sucking candy also. Listerine melts in case you have bad breath. And gals, don't forget your emergency period kit, your N95 masks, in case someone next to you is hacking up a lung and you don't want to arrive at your destination sick. Now I have 2 must-have items for me being comfortable on the plane. One of them is a blow-up tushy seat, because the seats in economy can be really hard and uncomfortable. The other item is packable ballet slippers, so I can take my shoes off on the plane and be able to go to the bathroom and still be comfortable. Also, you might want to have hydration essentials, because the cabin air is extremely dry and dehydration makes everything worse. Remember, hydrating constantly helps with the headaches, the jet lag, and the puffy post-flight feeling. Consider bringing electrolyte packages or hydration tablets, because this changes how water is absorbed in your body and prevents you from constantly having to go to the bathroom. And if you want to know more about how to build out your airline comfort bag, check out this video over here. So now let's discuss what to do the moment you get seated. This is where you set yourself up for your entire flight. Set up your space immediately as soon as you sit down. Wipe down all the surfaces by you. That means your tray, your belt buckle, armrest, seat back screen. If you are by a window, wipe that whole thing down. Even wipe down the air vents above you and the light switches. Put your airline comfort bag into your pocket, but make sure you wipe out that pocket before you put it in there. Or you can hang it off of the pocket, or you can put it next to you if that makes it more accessible. Stow your personal items so you can have access to it. Make sure you change your watch to the local time of where you'll be arriving, because that helps you mentally commit to eating and sleeping on their schedule. If you plan on sleeping on the plane, buckle up your seatbelt over your blanket. This way you won't be woken up by the airline attendants if you run into unexpected turbulence. Also, make sure your tray table is up and your window shade is closed. If airline food is notoriously bad, hello Delta. One of my favorite hacks is ordering special meals. From religious dietary food to vegan and food allergy choices, these meals are often better quality, usually sealed, more consistent, and they typically arrive earlier than the standard meals. Just make sure that you select them when you book or at least 72 hours before you take off. Always bring backup snacks, especially if you're traveling domestically, since they tend not to feed you. Even if your airline food is decent, you'll want options. So bring things like protein bars, nuts, crackers, instant oatmeal cups, tea bags, and yes, they will give you water for these things. This helps keeps you from being hungry, cranky, or dependent on whatever they decide to serve you. Also, don't forget to keep your important documents, your passport, and your meds either in your personal item bag or in your airline comfort bag that's going to be next to you, because you don't want to lose them. And never put them into the seat back pocket, since you can't re-enter the plane to get them. So let's talk a little bit more about sleeping on the plane. Here are some more additional hacks to help you sleep. Use an eye mask if the light bothers you. Have earplugs or noise-canceling headphones for the noises on the plane. Bring a neck pillow, or you can just roll up your scarf if you're a minimalist. Now, me personally, I try not to take a neck pillow because they take up a lot of room. If you really need one, you can opt for a blow-up one. Or there is this unique one that's both a headrest and covers your eyes so you can sleep and keep your neck straight. But make sure you have room for it in your personal item bag. An optional item is melatonin. Always test it out before you travel, because not everyone responds to it in the exact same way. Just a note, do not use the airline's blankets or pillows. They are not washed each flight and they are really gross. Instead, bring a big scarf or pack a really light blanket that you can put inside your personal item bag. You can even take an extra packing cube along and stuff it with your coat and use that as a pillow. Elevating your feet helps you to remain more comfortable, since it reduces the pressure on your lower back and your legs. Even a slight elevation helps with swelling. That being said, many of the airlines are not allowing the blow-up footrests or hammocks anymore because they are a hazard in case of an emergency. But if you want to use a foot hammock, let me show you this little trick with this DIY foot hammock. Use a scarf or a shawl and tie them together on the ends. Open up your tray table and loop that over your tray table and then close it back up. And that makes a foot hammock. But be mindful that you don't want to put too much pressure on it and disturb the person in front of you. Or you can use your personal item under your feet. But if you're going to do that, you might want to take along a plastic garbage bag to cover your personal item bag so it doesn't get dirty. And you might want to do that anyway because the carpeting is pretty darn dirty. Remember to keep your blood moving in your legs. So you might want to do ankle circles and get up when you can and do gentle stretches by the galley. Movement is one of the best defenses against stiffness and discomfort. Now, some more tips on avoiding jet lag so you don't feel like a truck hit you when you get to your destination. Jet lag usually happens when you're traveling east. There are a few strategies to avoid this. Try to slowly adjust your sleep time before the date that you fly, like going to bed 1 hour earlier and waking up 1 hour earlier. The same is true about going west. You go to bed 1 hour later and wake up 1 hour later if you can. Set your watch for the destination so you can try to adjust your sleep and eating habits to that time. Try to sleep on the plane when you'd be asleep at your destination and be up when you're supposed to be up at your destination. Having a freshness kit is probably one of the most underrated things to have and probably makes one of the biggest differences once you land, especially on a long-haul flight. Packing these items is the difference between you feeling gross and feeling like a human again. Here's what I always pack: panty liners or a fresh pair of underwear in a small zippered pouch. I also have unscented wipes, a mini deodorant or deodorant wipes, face mist or micellar water, a brush so I don't look like I have bedhead, dry shampoo because it does freshen up your hair. Now for your landing strategy, a great tip is to ask the flight attendant when they expect the lights to go back on. Then set your watch to about 15 minutes before that time so that you have all the time you need to freshen up in the bathroom without the crowds there. Then, before you land, wash your face or use the wipes, brush your teeth, change your panty liner or your underwear, reapply deodorant. You don't have to feel gross when you arrive. 5 minutes makes a huge difference in how you feel. But if something prevents you from doing this on the flight, remember you can always freshen up in the airport bathroom. Now, I know I've thrown a lot at you, and there is a full checklist to everything I talked about in here in the description area down below. Long haul flights don't have to be miserable. With a little planning and the right habits, you can arrive calm, comfortable, and ready to enjoy your trip. If you want more tips on packing light, flying comfortably, and traveling smarter on a budget, make sure you subscribe to Perry's Passport. And if you have a long haul flight coming up, why don't you drop in the comment section down below if you're team window seat or team aisle, and any tips you might have on surviving a long haul trip. And if you also want to know more about my airline comfort bag, check out this video over here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!